Hello, my myRockworld fans. Tonight we are at the Circus Krone in Munich, and Eamonn McCormack, the Irish guitar player, is the support act of Short Throat Goat and the Destroyers. So, welcome in Munich, Eamonn.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here. Yeah.
Thanks. First question. Not everyone is familiar with your name. Please introduce yourself and give us a brief history of your musical career.
Okay. I've been around quite a long time. I started playing guitar when I was 8. Did my first gigs when I was in garage bands when I was like 13, 14. And then I guess professionally since the age of 18. But for 10 years I traded under the stage name Samuel Eddy. And then I took a small break, and after about 2 or 3 years I came back and I decided to use my normal Irish name that I was christened, which was Eamonn McCormack. And the reason I had Samuel Eddy was Eamonn is Irish for Eddie, and my second name was Samuel. And when I was picking a stage name, I went Eddie Samuel, Samuel Eddy, and then twisted it around.
Understand. Yeah.
And that's the story of how I changed the name. But I'm back to normal now. It's Eamonn McCormack.
Very good, very good. Your first album, Strangers on the Run, was released under the pseudonym Samuel Eddy.
Yeah.
What was the reason you released the album under this pseudonym? We spoke already about, but
that's because it was my stage name. Yeah.
So this was the stage name, and was this also, as we know, is it true that Rory Gallagher has added some guitar to your first album?
Second album, actually.
Okay.
He guested on the track "Falsely Accused." And there was a huge honour for me to get Rory in. Like, he was my hero, and later we became friends anyway. But to have him play with me was amazing, and it's kind of sweet and sour because sadly it was his last ever studio appearance as well,
Yeah. So, as you told already, you have been friends, and how was it work with him, and how was it to be friend with him?
Fantastic. We spent some time together in California, in Holland, Germany, London, even France, and it was great. And I only found a postcard that he actually sent to me as well. I thought I lost it. I found it only about 3 months ago, which is great, going through an old box, and that's a great treasure. It was great to know him, and he was a lovely guy, a gentleman, and to have him play was amazing. I mean, he came into the studio and he only listened to the song once, and then he plugged in his amps were set up by his guitar tech, and the minute he plugged in, you knew it was Rory. The whole studio shook,
Yeah.
It was a tremendous experience. When he played, he just put himself completely into it, 100%. He transformed.
Yeah.
Project him.
We have not spoken about that, but I read it. You also toured or played with bands like ZZ Top and a lot of other big names.
Yeah.
So this was the time as Samuel Eddy, or
yeah, mainly Samuel Eddy. Samuel Eddy. I did some shows with ZZ Top, and in particular, the one I remember was in Amsterdam. That was just before I took a kind of a hiatus break, and I got to tour with Johnny Winter across Europe as Samuel Eddy, and Eric Burden, Brian Auger. Nils Lofgren as well. I toured, played Munich with Nils in the past at Samuel Eddy. So it's been a tremendous opportunity. I suppose I was only, I guess, a young Irish guitarist then, and get to tour with these people was an amazing experience,
And then you did a break as Samuel Eddy.
That's right. I took a break.
What was the reason for the break?
I was 10 years on the road, and I just needed a break. What I thought was 6 months, but it ended up a few years from the road and recording.
So it was just
I didn't stop playing guitar. I just and I got involved in other things. It wasn't consciously that I decided to come off the road for a few years. I just started to develop some young bands in Ireland, and I had a small little record label which we did well with for a while, and then I just got the bug again. Somebody asked me to form a band and do a festival, and I did it, and it was like I'd never quit. So I said, right, I'm back again, and then I stopped the label, and I'm full-time now again.
Cool. Fans, you should know Samuel Eddy is back, but under his real name, Eamonn McCormack, which is great because this is, as we know, his real name. And the last studio album of Eamonn McCormack is called Heal My Faith, and it was released in 2012.
That's right.
So the question, can we expect a new album maybe soon?
Certainly, yeah. I'm in talks with Chris Tangaridis, a great producer. He worked with Gary Moore and Thin Lizzy and Mountain, Black Sabbath, and he wants to actually record, to work with me on my next album.
Cool.
It's only a matter of finding the time. I have over half the material now. And then
So you have written already some songs?
Yeah, and we're looking forward to working together. So that should be great.
Very good. What do you think when you will expect
I'm hoping
it,
maybe September or October I'd like to record it.
And bring it out in 2016?
Yeah, and it's going to be called Like There's No Tomorrow.
Oh, this is the title is already?
Yeah.
This is?
Like There's No Tomorrow.
Very good.
I was playing in former East Germany, and
Yes.
a guy came up, he didn't have so much English, and he gave me a great compliment. He bought a CD and he said, I see so many guitar players, but he said you were from that old school where you play like there's no tomorrow, like it's the last. You put so much passion in it. It's like it's your last solo on earth.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a lovely. He said,
Yeah.
I said, what's that? He said, like there's no tomorrow. And I thought that's a lovely title for an album.
This is a really lovely title. As we spoke already at the soundcheck today, you showed me your Stratocaster
yeah,
guitar.
That's the original 63. Yeah.
Tell it again for all the fans, because this is a good story.
When I was 17 years of age, I had met Rory Gallagher for the first time. On the same day I met him, for the second time I met Phil Lynott as well, which was a great thrill for a young rock musician from Dublin to meet the two of them.
Famous Lizzy guy, yeah.
Yeah. And I told Rory that I was working all summer and I was saving money to buy a Stratocaster. And he told me, he wrote down a little piece of paper, he said, contact Phil Harris in Catford in London. He has a beautiful 63 Stratocaster. And he said, I don't think it's sold. He said, it's a great guitar. And even contact my management if you can't find Phil. And those days it was before the internet, of course.
Of course.
And I got on to directory inquiries in London, and they said, we have a Harris in Catford, try it. And I called him, and Phil answered the phone, and he said, yeah, I still have the 63 Strat. He said that Rory was looking at that, and he was looking at a Telecaster as well. So I got on the boat and went over, and I got it, and that's my main guitar still to this day.
This is great.
And since then Rory had played it and everything, and Johnny Winter and Bill Slough, anybody I've toured with have all got a go on it.
But this is a cool story, and you have still left it. And tonight you will play on the guitar.
Yeah.
So what can we expect from the show tonight?
Mainly original material. I might throw in one Rory track if there's time towards the end. I'll do the track hopefully after that I recorded with Rory called Falsely Accused, and I think it's a half hour, 35-minute set. Normally when you're doing the support,
for sure.
But it's great just to get it. It's a great pleasure to open for George Thorogood. I've always been a big fan of George, but I never saw him play either, so I'm in good form to watch him tonight.
As we know, the Circus Krone Hall is the most famous hall in Europe, so this will be
it's amazing. It's frightening the amount of people who played there. Everyone from the Beatles to the Stones.
Everybody. So
Led Zeppelin.
Maybe Led Zeppelin. They played the first time here in 1970, and as you see the hall, as you saw the hall, now you have a stage.
Yeah.
But Led Zeppelin played
on the floor.
On the floor.
I have a picture. Somebody emailed me a photo of it.
This is our picture.
Ah,
yeah.
There you go.
A nice question, because this is always necessary for us, because the roots is everything. So what were your heroes, or still are your heroes starting out playing music?
Okay, I guess when I first started acoustic guitar when I was around 8 or 9, I was listening first to my pop bands like Slade were a big favourite of mine, and Sweet. And then because I only had an acoustic, I started then to play along with records from Cat Stevens, and then my sister had a Neil Young record, and I liked Neil Young, and maybe I was only around 10 or 11 then, and she went to America, I'll never forget it, for a holiday to visit some cousins, and she came back with a few, maybe 15, 20 albums. So when she was out, I used to put the albums on, and she brought back Jimi Hendrix, Cream, and Taste. She picked up a Taste album in America, and that changed my life. I remember I got a pickup then for my acoustic guitar, and I remember plugging it into the stereo, playing along with Taste, and I didn't even know Taste were an Irish guitar player at the time,
Yeah.
And that's where it all started, and then later she had a Rory Gallagher album, and I think I've been at it ever since.
Cool. Tell us a secret about yourself that nobody knows, a funny turbo secret or something else.
Okay.
What comes in mind?
Okay, let me see. I don't know why I thought of it. I just saw a taxi there, but I last year or the year before I was at a blues summit in Lyon in France, and I remember the guys told us, be careful, it's very expensive taxis. And we went out and we had a party that night, a very late night, and I got home to the hotel.
Yes.
And I had an early appointment on a train to catch a flight, and of course I missed it. The alarm, I put it on snooze, but I missed it. So I said, right, I have to get to the airport. So it was not so far, maybe 46 kilometers. So I went to the train station, and it was a Sunday, and there was no trains, absolutely nothing I could get, or buses. So I went to the taxi drivers, and the prices I heard to drop me the 46 kilometers was close to €400.
Whoa.
And I finally got one really nice guy. He says, I'll do a special cash priced up front, €200. And I'll never forget.
Yeah,
The most expensive taxi ride I ever had was a €200 taxi ride to the airport in France.
For just 40 kilometers.
40 odd
Oh my
kilometers. It was a joke. but
Nice
it's
story,
crazy.
nice story. So at last, some words to your fans, please.
Thanks for coming out to the live concerts and following up and listening to either podcasts or radio stations on the internet, because obviously that's the way it is now, and as well as the radio stations, and the people who keep live music going, and rock and roll in general, and blues and all that. I think it needs people like that who are kind of flying the flag, and it's in that way it's kind of
to keep the passion
it's
alive.
keep going.
Yeah.
We have to keep the passion alive.
That's it.
And it's working. We are, everybody. More and more I see young people at concerts. I do myself now, and it's great. I think they're getting sick of a lot of the, say, manufactured music that's been out there for years as well.
And maybe all the fans should know we do the interview now in my car outside
Very nice
the hall,
Mercedes, yeah.
because we have no other place where we have little quiet. So thanks, Eamonn.
You're welcome.
And have a great show tonight.
Thank you.